Hi. It has been some time. I haven't prepared any videos for you. Since like 2 weeks, and there have been many developments globally. Not to mention that there is now a coronavirus spread or pandemic globally, and it affects all the economies and but mostly the human health. Everybody now is talking about it, and we are going to also prepare how this coronavirus is going to also affect the global economy. It's because we are now seeing that the United States is delaying all the flights for a month from the European community, and they are considering to also apply this maybe to United Kingdom and to even most maybe globally they will do it, who knows. Also the other countries will be forced to follow that, meaning that the mobilization of the people is going to be delayed or disturbed, which means that the economic activities are going to be disturbed. And now we see that in the Standard & Poor's 500 it drops significantly from 3,380s to 2,400. Now it's around 2,700 as of today. Today is as far as it's the 14th of March, Saturday. I'm shooting this video, and we see also FTSE and also German stock market and others, Japan, Nikkei. All of them are falling considerably low points, so it's going to affect the global economy. But there are other developments that we shouldn't also miss them, and they are important, especially for Middle East and the region. Why? Because these developments are now giving us some indications what might happen in future. So this week we want to start with there are lots of arrests in Saudi Arabia. MSP, or known as Mohammad bin Salman, the prince and the future king, let's say, has decided to arrest some of the princes and also the statesmen in the country due to the conspiracy of a potential threat of coup and or some health problem of his father, King Salman. So what these are showing us, and why Saudi Arabia or Mohammed bin Salman considers to continue these kind of arrests, we should think and we should talk about all these things shortly, and we are going to also give our projections what Mohammed bin Salman is considering for the future. So let's start. What's going on with Saudi? Now, on Saudi, last week there had been some arrests among the princes, the royal family. Mohammed bin Salman, or the future king, and the prince, the son of the King Salman, decided that there are potentially some threats of the princes, that they are considering to make or prepare a coup in order to take the control of the country. And there are also some rumors that his father, the King Salman, has some health problems. So before something happens, he wants to consolidate the power under his authority. That's why he decided to arrest some potential threats to him. But is it the only consideration for us? No, it's not, and you shouldn't also miss what is going on. And now we are going to talk about how we should be attaching these or combining these events all together. First, there is a pandemic global risk or threat now in the world, and this now caused some economic disturbance among the countries. Last week there was a meeting in OPEC, and Russia with Saudi Arabia had a conflict about the prices and the actions that should be taken. Saudi Arabia basically says that I am going to pump the oil to the market and I will increase my production. And Russia wants to limit this because they want to keep the price. For Russia, it is important because the break-even point for them is around $44 per barrel. If you go to Saudi Arabia, it's around $20. Now, that's why Russia wants to have or reach a deal with Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia doesn't care, because in the Saudi Arabia they have a budget and they need to reach this. If they are going to come to a point where, let's say, $40 or $45 even per barrel, but with a limited capacity to sell the oil, it's not going to help their economy. So they want to now have a long maybe standing against the Russian oil production, because they can have less revenue, but compared to Russia they will still have less profit, but Russia is going to lose more. So they want to put them into corner and have a best deal for their favor. And now we have the arrest. So what does it mean? You should also remember that when the Prince Mohammad bin Salman came to office, let's say, he had promised that he had a 2030 Saudi Arabia vision, a target that is going to make Saudi Arabia not only depending on the oil revenue, but also a revenue that they are going to do from the various different or various businesses, industry, IT, and others. And that's very important because he has promised to do so. So there is a big expectation within the country. However, under these global, let's say, business or conditions, global economic conditions, it is very difficult for Saudi Arabia to generate the revenue that they are looking for. So what does it mean? If they are not going to generate the revenue in order to invest on the industries that they need to build up, they cannot keep their promises. It's easy. I mean, you have the revenue, then you can have the investments, and as far as you do the investments, then you can reach your targets. Since they don't have this revenue or spare revenue, it's not possible then to also keep their promises. It will be hard, it will be limited. Why? Because they have a fight with Yemen and they have spent enormous budget for the army. Also they have to give to country to survive or to keep living on, let's say. And beside that, they have to also reduce the budget deficit to a limited percent, 3% to 5%. And that's why it is now, they feel it hard to keep their promises. That's why they are now having a conflict with Russia against concerning the oil price and the production. That's why also now they started these kind of arrests, because Mohammed bin Salman considers that in the future he might have a risk to reach his targets, which is like 2030, the Saudi Arabia vision. And once he is going to, or he will start failing his targets, there will be a disturbance and or unrest among the populace, which is going to be supporting his opponents that he considers who he has already arrested. So basically he is now arresting the people who might be opponent in future to him. Why? Because they are lacking the revenues that they should started, or they should have already started to invest on the industries to rise. That's basically our understanding, and the numbers are also, we believe, are showing this, that they are going to be lacking also enormous in future. From now on 1 to maybe 2 years, most of the countries will have a kind of hardship, let's say. And from now on, it's 1 year to 2 years is already, let's say, 21, 22. And unless the economic activities in or globally recovers, it will be hard for Saudi Arabia to spare huge revenue for its investments to make the Saudi Arabia 2030 real at that time. And we believe it is under these circumstances are not very much likely. We have said this before in 2019 when Mohammad bin Salman claims that he would be successful. We think it's not, despite the fact that he is going to do some, but not everything else for sure. But he will miss the target greatly. That's why we also project now that these kind of arrests will continue in future in order to contain all the power under his authority, that the country will be actually directed by him, and he will be the only figure, only body who will be responsible to his father, the King Salman. And he needs to do this because he knows that unless he reached his economic, I would say, targets by 2030 or starting by 2025, there will be a huge opposition against him. And in order to prevent strong oppositions, he needs to control them right now. That's why we do project that starting by now, let's say, or today, until 2023, 24, he will keep applying hard measurements on the opponents, arresting or house arrests, or taking all their revenues and bank account, or control all the bank accounts and all their financial resources, not to spare any kind of resource for them to use against them in order to build an opponent or a coalition of opponents, and not to also impact or affect the populace view against him. That's why we do really believe that these kind of arrests or harsh control over the potential opponents will continue, and we will see more arrests in future. If you like this video, please, there is a like button underneath this screen. Please press on it. And if you subscribe yourself to our channel, we will share our videos with you first. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.